We're on the road with a Michelin chef. 7 days, 3 pop-ups, 6 total Michelin stars. Come with us behind the scenes on a Michelin-starred road trip up the California coast, from San Diego to San Francisco. We're Anders and Kaitlin, and we travel for food. And in this series, we're on the road with Chef Nick Curtin and the team from Michelin-starred restaurant Alouette. We brought our favorite Copenhagen restaurant to California and curated the ultimate culinary road trip. We'll take you behind the scenes, in the car, in the kitchen, and inside 3 Michelin-starred restaurants to see what it really takes to pull off a fine dining pop-up. The Michelin Guide was created by a tire company to highlight restaurants worth a special journey. So we flipped the idea around and went on the journey with one. This is the Carmel episode. Buckle up! Team Alouette arrived from Copenhagen, and we met up with them in LA. Before we set off on our adventure along the coast, I wanted to show them my hometown. We picked them up at their hotel and took them out to eat at some of our very favorite restaurants in Los Angeles. Head chef and owner Nick Curtin brought 2 chefs with him on the trip, sous chef Melody Hamburger and R&D chef Summer Sharkey. Alouette is all about cooking over an open fire, so we wanted to show them some of LA's restaurants that burn the brightest. A trip to Bavel was non-negotiable. It's the #1 restaurant we always bring friends and family to when they visit. The breads and spreads here are incredible, and we love sitting by the fire and watching the action in the kitchen. This was the ultimate Middle Eastern feast. Another spot we knew the Alouette team would love was Dunsmoor, where sparks fly while the table fills with Americana comfort food.
Look at this beautiful facade.
What an amazing spot.
It's such a gorgeous
You said it was
space.
an old bank?
Yeah, old bank.
Hey, how are you doing? We're here with John. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The stew is on.
The stew is on, and that's important because it wasn't on last time we were here.
Okay.
So we haven't had it in a year now. And it's his aunt's recipe. They make all their flour tortillas in-house. He recommends getting it with these cheddar chive mashed potatoes, which is weird to have inside a tortilla. But you put in the potatoes, you put in the stew, and then it's like dripping, gooey, ugly, delicious. That's essential. Obviously, the cornbread has its own little box, so you can already know that that's a must.
Yeah.
It's like sweet, salty cornbread, sexy amount of butter.
I mean, all of these things I like: sour milk, cornbread,
Yeah.
cheddar, hatch chili,
Yeah.
butter, honey.
Yeah.
Like that just hits all the spots.
Last time, the sleeper hit was the baby albacore. That was Andrew's favorite dish of the menu. Bluefin tuna toast was great. The Carolina gold rice is always on the menu.
I
and
love
it
Carolina
changes
gold
like
rice.
what they put in it. So we've had it with like shrimp.
We
It's
have
must.
to have it because these guys need to experience Carolina
Yes.
gold rice.
The pork chop is one of the best I've had. They have a local Mangalitsa pig, just like really like herby crust on it, perfectly cooked, amazing.
By the time that pork chop showed up, I was like, oh, Jesus, what are we doing here?
But Team Alouette wasn't just in town to eat with us. They were in LA to join Restaurant Kato's annual Lunar New Year pop-up series. Alouette and Kato came together to create a collaborative tasting menu, blending Taiwanese and Nordic flavors. We never would have guessed that such distinct restaurants would serve a menu where the flavors blended so harmoniously. Watch our video to see the full menu from this collab. After a week eating our way through LA, it was time to kick off the road trip and head up the coast to Carmel for Alouette's pop-up with Aubergine.
Here we go, so it begins.
We loaded up the car with all the chef's gear, our filming equipment, and of course, lots of snacks, the most essential part of any road trip.
Here we have the Alouette team unboxing Trader Joe's Road Trip Snack Edition. What are we bringing in the car on the road trip?
Cacio e pepe pops.
Yes,
Mac cheese sandwich crackers.
love it.
Oh my god, it's like the Ritz ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
but organic.
Oh, better. Ooh, cinnamon sugar cashew.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Pumpkin spice teeny tiny pretzels. So
These are really addicting. Okay, this is a new item Trader Joe's just dropped.
sweet onion style pretzel twist.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
put that on. That sounds good. Oh yes. Mm-hmm. Peanut butter filled pretzels. Oh. You see the excitement?
Watermelon filled with other natural flavors.
We have the vehicle. This is our home for the next week. Come on inside. We're going to be spending about 30 hours in this car. Luckily, it looks quite spacious and nice, but 6 people, it's going to get tight. Here we go.
Everybody ready?
We're ready. Yeah, ready.
Let's do it.
We have 7 hours in the car today. Are we ready?
Yeah.
First stop, heading towards Carmel. First stop, maybe slow, Santa Barbara, we'll see. We've been following Alouette for almost a decade now and been so many times. I feel like we know your food so well. So it's very fun to see it in a different context in my hometown. Like I expected more familiar dishes and flavors, which of course it still tasted like Alouette, but it definitely had the thumbprint of LA. Like having that Tangelo hollandaise, honestly, was such a standout because it really tasted like Alouette in LA.
One of the big questions is, how do you take a restaurant that focuses on locality and then carry those dishes and ideas to someplace else entirely, right? Because if you just verbatim copy your dishes, but it involves you taking all your product from your home, then you might be showing somebody where you are there, but you're not showing them your value set. You're not showing them the ethos. Vice versa, if you don't bring anything from home and you only work with produce and ideas from the place that you're visiting, then you're not really showing them who you are back in Copenhagen.
We broke up the long drive with a few stops along the way.
Is this it?
Right here across the street.
First for coffee in Ventura, at a super cute shop with great pour-overs and fun lattes. A bit later, we stopped for lunch in San Luis Obispo, at the super popular High Street Market in Deli. They serve great sandwiches and the juiciest pickles, but note that the wait times can be long. Pro tip, order online so your food is ready when you arrive. We continued our drive north, stopping to take in the views along Big Sur. California showed off all its charm as we wound our way up the coast, catching glimpses of elephant seals out the window and watching the sunset over the Pacific. When we reached our destination, we were hungry, so we went to dinner nearby at Maligne in Monterey. We feasted on fluffy milk bread, fresh salads, a delicious smoked crab dip, grilled artichokes with brown butter, and a royale with cheese, a fantastic double cheeseburger. We also enjoyed a donabe course with emerald rice and local wagyu. This was an amazing meal in a really cool setting with good vibes, great music, a fun open kitchen with a live fire, and friendly staff. The next morning, we woke up in the charming storybook town of Carmel-by-the-Sea, a fairy tale-like village so picturesque it doesn't even seem real.
We have arrived in the storybook town of Carmel-by-the-Sea, the first stop on the Alouette road trip.
Here, the houses have names instead of street addresses, and the town is chock full of quirky rules. There are no streetlights, pickleball is banned, and even high heels are illegal. Yes, really.
So high heels are illegal in Carmel because the roads have so many roots and bumps that you could trip and fall. But you can get a permit to wear high heels. So I came to City Hall to get a permit to wear heels to the Alouette and Aubergine pop-up. But unfortunately, it's a Saturday and the City Hall is closed. So I guess I'll have to illegally wear my high heels. Womp womp.
While in Carmel, we stayed at L'Auberge, a historic boutique hotel built in 1929. Almost a century later, the interior feels timeless with an air of old world luxury. We loved the charming design and all the luxurious touches. The sun-soaked patio was our favorite part of the Relais and Chateau property. Of course, L'Auberge is home to Aubergine, the two-Michelin-starred crown jewel of Carmel, and the setting of Alouette's pop-up. On a bright, sunny day, Chef Justin Cogley took us out on a hike to explore the local landscape. Justin introduced Nick to the ingredients of the California coast, and they got inspired to create dishes for their pop-up.
After going to City Hall today and finding them closed, I did encounter a Carmel police officer, so I had to get to the bottom of this and ask about the high heels. He confirmed that it is illegal to wear high heels over 4 inches. He said that this was because people kept suing the city and they kept falling and suing the city, so the city came up with this law to prevent themselves from getting sued. So if you go get a permit from City Hall, it's basically you just signing and saying, I'm not going to sue the city, I want to wear heels, and that's fine. But the police officer also said they've never detained anyone for wearing heels. So it looks like I'm in the clear, but might have to go to City Hall when they're open and get a little souvenir. The permits are free, fun fact.
That evening, Camilla arrived, the final piece of the puzzle. Alouette's general manager, co-owner, Nick's better half, and my best friend. Now Team Alouette was fully assembled, so we celebrated with dinner at Aubergine together, so the chefs could experience the restaurant before their pop-up the next day. Aubergine first opened back in 2005, but it wasn't until former professional figure skater, ultra-marathon runner, and now top chef Justin Cogley took over the kitchen years later that the restaurant became the culinary mecca it is today. Aubergine received its first Michelin star in 2019 and its second in 2024. The food is inspired by its coastal California setting, featuring local ingredients like Dungeness crab, Sonoma duck, and Monterey abalone. Chef Justin cares deeply about sourcing high-quality seafood for his menu. In fact, he even took us to his abalone supplier to give us a first-hand look at where this ingredient comes from. Later, we'll get a rare look inside Monterey Abalone Company, one of the last remaining in-ocean abalone farms in operation today. Aubergine is a Krug ambassade and also has a dedicated champagne pairing to accompany the meal. Both a wine pairing and house-made non-alcoholic pairing are also available. We loved getting a first taste of Aubergine's cuisine and even got to try some unique dishes that would not be on the pop-up menu the next day. Highlights included a dish of abalone, grilled shrimp, and crab in a coconut sauce, a kinmadai lettuce wrap, dry-aged Sonoma duck with Oaxacan mole, and triple-seared A5 Wagyu served with a caramelized onion and green garlic tart in a squid ink shell. The meal ended with a playful tableside serving of roasted pumpkin seed ice cream, topped with crunchy granola, caramelized honeycomb, and puffed red quinoa. This inspired the collaborative dessert Alouette and Aubergine would serve at their pop-up. The next day began with one of the best hotel breakfasts we've ever had, on the patio at L'Auberge. The a la carte offerings included everything from acai bowls to avocado toast, to omelets filled with mushrooms and smoked bacon, to gooey hash browns topped with shaved Gouda. We could start every morning like this. With full bellies, we set off to get to know the local produce. Chef Justin took us to the Monterey Abalone Company to see where this one-of-a-kind ingredient is sourced. The pier was teeming with sea life. Otters were swimming in the water and cracking open oysters, and tons of sea lions were resting on the dock. They were so noisy, but so cute.
You know, it's one thing to talk about and another thing to see, and to get down there and be amongst the seals and the sea lions and see these cages just sort of hovering in the water. Probably one of the big challenges that abalone farming faces is how long one has to farm abalone. Like, you might wonder why a sea snail is so expensive. Well, if it takes a minimum of 4 years just to get it to where it needs to go, and that requires $50,000 to $100,000 a month in electrical fees to cover pumping, like, it makes a lot of sense why this is a luxury product. I'm pretty sure that before this trip, I had never tried abalone before, which seems outrageous, but I don't think we've ever collided. And so I think from afar, I never really got it, right? It's a sea snail. On that alone, it just doesn't sound sexy and alluring. And then the processing for that product is, you have to harvest it and then immediately tenderize it. It's very difficult to cook. It's not something that's immediately aesthetic, right? It still looks like a sea snail once you've processed it. But tasting it and experiencing that really special texture, I'm standing here and I'm smelling the taste of abalone. It's just sort of like clean ocean air and brine, and it is the coastline distilled. It all makes sense now.
Coming along with Team Alouette for this pop-up series gave us unique access to some world-class kitchens. We're usually only on the diner side, but on this trip, we got to go behind the scenes in the kitchen to watch how these Michelin-starred teams pull off a pop-up. It was so inspiring to watch the chefs at work and see all the small details that go into crafting these spectacular meals.
And it's just a great Sunday night to be able to do this in Carmel and be, extremely exciting atmosphere.
You're really lucky here in California that you have a lot of small farmers, an abundance of produce. Denmark, we have this really famous food scene in fine dining, but we sort of missed the farm to table movement. We just went straight from like kind of canned and salted goods straight over to foraging, and we missed all of the stuff that was in between. And so it has been our purpose over the last couple of years to try and show farmers and show produce at its absolute best. Our menu is separated into 4 what we call plots. They're series of dishes that are zoom in on one single farmer or producer. So we're really excited to come here to show some of our ideas, to dig into California produce and apply some of our philosophies to some of the things that you have, and to meet some incredible and inspiring people so that we can also go home and sometimes think back to a place like Carmel and think about the ideas and the things that we saw here.
Standing on the steps of City Hall, all dressed up for the Alouette Aubergine pop-up, and I'm wearing my heels. Illegal.
Finally, it was time for the main event, the Aubergine and Alouette pop-up dinner, a one-night-only affair in Carmel. The meal kicked off with some gifts from the coast, featuring stunning snacks from both restaurants. Aubergine always presents their snacks on colorful, flower-decorated trays, where the flavors and visuals are inspired by the California coast. It was amazing to watch these tiny, perfect bites get assembled. Aubergine served a Morro Bay oyster with poblano pepper and hamachi on a blue corn taco. Alouette added 2 dishes to Aubergine's snack tray, the beet rose and the trout roe tart. 2 dishes we would continue to see throughout the pop-up series, with small variations. Alouette created a dish exclusively for this pop-up.
Hi, I'm Nick, and this is Behind the Curtain. Today we're talking about our crab dish that we decided to do for Aubergine. We've been trying to work our way through each of these restaurants and creating a dish on the spot that is going to mirror the place around us, the produce around us, the feeling of a space. We took this walk with Justin yesterday through the mountains up to a redwood grove, and there was this smell in the air that I just couldn't put my finger on. It was spice with a little bit of sweetness, almost like bubble gum, and Justin revealed that it was California laurel.
Yeah, so we found some wild bay laurel.
Like right when you tear it, I get like a physical reaction to it. It's like a sledgehammer hits me. It's so aromatic. It's so aromatic. Carmel, Big Sur, Monterey, this is about where earth meets ocean. You got these mountains that are rolling straight up to cliffs to the water. You're standing in a forest and you're smelling both the smells of the forest and this sort of spindrift, this ocean spray coming in. We took a California sticky rice, we steamed it, and then we're picking it up like a risotto in a crab shell dashi, finishing it with a little bit of the picked crab, a good dose of crab gut butter, and then a smash of pomelo juice just to give it a little lightness. On top is the loins from the crab leg that we grilled over the open fire, brushed with a little bit of the gut butter, and then the whole dish is garnished with an oil that we made from the California laurel.
Alouette also brought their signature dish of pumpkin and caviar, a classic that we will never get sick of eating. The chefs introduced the Aubergine team to their caviar producer from Copenhagen. sharing bumps of Rossini Black Label Caviar in the kitchen. We've been lucky enough to eat this dish quite a few times now, but this was the first time we got to go in the kitchen and watch how it was prepared, from start to finish. The Aubergine team helped with the plating, and Melody taught them how to assemble this signature dish. We were impressed with how quickly the Aubergine team learned to execute the dish, and by what a good instructor Melody was. This was when we realized what a collaboration dinner like this really is. It's a team effort.
One of the things that I really love about this and taking this dish everywhere is that we keep the aesthetic of the dish the exact same as it is in Copenhagen, as it is here, but every place that we go, the sort of visual of it shifts, even though we're not adjusting it, because the room is different, the plate is different. I think that's just kind of speaks to the nature of collaboration, is that even if I wanted to do exactly what we do in Copenhagen, it's not possible, and instead of pushing against that, we have to just lean into it. Fire roasted pumpkin puree with Rossini Black Label Caviar, bruleed custard of fresh pumpkin juice, the pumpkin seed beurre blanc, caramelized seaweed oil, and pumpkin skin oil.
Aubergine featured their signature pan-seared diver scallop with different textures of artichoke and a sea urchin sauce. Butter on butter on butter, served with a laminated brioche filled with even more butter. It's no surprise that this was one of our favorites. Alouette continued showcasing the sea with a bright and balanced dish of spiny lobster, XO sauce, and a tangelo hollandaise. We first had a version of this dish at Kato and loved watching it evolve throughout the pop-up series, changing in presentation as we ate it throughout the week. Alouette prides itself on using local ingredients, so there's no citrus on the menu since it doesn't grow in Denmark. Chef Nick loved getting to play with California citrus during these pop-ups, and we loved the chance to taste dishes that will only ever be served in California. Aubergine finished the meal with 2 meat courses.
For the dinner tonight, we have a lot of our return guests, so we want to mix it up and do something special for them, and also show the team at Alouette just a fun little play on what we're doing. So this is a Vietnamese style pancake, also known as a bánh xèo. So it's a street food item, but we're gonna elevate it here with some fermented items, some fresh cilantro, some duck leg confit, and we're gonna serve it with our duck course tonight.
This was a playful fine dining take on a street food dish, and it made us want to take a trip to Vietnam. The last savory course featured marbled pieces of Japanese Wagyu with a mustard dip. The menu ended with a tableside ice cream serving, a collaboration dish created by both restaurants. Raw milk ice cream was served with honeycomb, blackened bee pollen from Copenhagen, and puffed quinoa. Deliciously creamy with wonderfully crunchy textures, this was the perfect sweet ending to an unforgettable collaboration dinner. Before leaving Carmel, we spent a night at their beachfront sister property, the Carmel Beach Hotel. The sun was setting on our weekend in Carmel, but we'll never forget our time together here and all the delicious memories.
It's Monday morning, we're about to leave Carmel, but before we do, one last trip. Gonna get my high heel permit before we go. Oh, 8 a.m., they're open. Well, that was the quickest trip to a government office that I've ever experienced, and I am now the proud owner of an official City of Carmel-by-the-Sea permit for the wearing of shoes with heels in excess of certain limitations. This is amazing. Wow. Official.
The first pop-up dinner was complete, but the road trip continued. Stay tuned for the next episodes featuring Alouette's pop-ups at Lilo in Carlsbad and Birdsong in San Francisco. Along the way, expect road trip shenanigans, including a Michelin-style upgrade to an iconic fast food stop, carpool karaoke, and exploring California through its produce, meeting local farmers and strolling farmers markets. Did you know we have an international food community? Join the Hungries to connect with other foodies around the world. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more food and travel videos. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Anders Husa and Carnivore. Thanks for watching.